Hi, it's Simone Novello from Partner2GROW, and it is my absolute pleasure to introduce you to Deborah Sinclair from Liquid Mango. And Liquid Mango is an organisation that is all about building communities and building engaged communities, more importantly, through social media. So in this instance, Deb's all about quality over quantity. You can have both, certainly, but there's no point in having a huge social media presence and following unless the people that you're are actually engaged. Isn't that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's most important to use the social platforms where your audience is and to use them well. So it's better to be on a couple of platforms and use them really well, but rather than spreading yourself too thinly.
That's fantastic. And I think that's the thing, I think as business owners, we get so overwhelmed by, this social media platform and that social media platform, and we all get a bit, scared of, are we using it properly, or now I've got to learn this one, and then you're out there trying to be friends with everybody, aren't you? And I think it's looking at, again, in Partner, we talk about personal alliance, personal and professional relationships, and it's kind of the same thing. You can't be best friends with everybody, can you? You can't have close relationships with everybody. No. So you have to be selective.
Definitely, and I think it's really important to have a strategy in place, know who your audience is and know where they're playing, and go and visit them. With social media, I think 20% of your content and time should be spent selling your services, and the rest of the time, spent building those relationships and building the trust and credibility.
That's great. So Deb, firstly, can we take a step back, because we kind of launched right into it there, and tell me a little bit more about your background, because Deborah's one of our strategic partners, and we've been working with Deborah on building our social media presence for Partner2GROW, and we've had fantastic results in terms of our general presence, engagement. I've had people ringing me just to say, I just want to say, I've been seeing you everywhere, and I'm thinking maybe we should do something with you, or keep doing what you're doing because it's fantastic. And we're getting a lot of inbound inquiries. And tell me more about where you came from and how you came to be so good at what you do.
Sure. My background, I started in the TV industry, working for ABC and Channel 9 and 10 and 7, and then from there moved into PR and corporate communications. So I really focus on building relationships, also focus on two-way communication, and that's what I wanted to bring to small business as well, teach them how to use social media, but also teach them how to communicate properly and to connect with the people that they care about the most, and to build those relationships. And I think that's really important when you're looking to connect with strategic alliance partners as well.
Great. And so tell me about, we talk about building assets. Our step 2 in our process is all about building your assets. And talk to me about, how you can build your assets through social media, what those assets are, and then how you can actually use them, because people think about using social media to attract their end customer. But how can you use social media to attract strategic alliance partners?
I think social media is great for that. You can connect to large groups of people, but I think one of the things with strategic alliances is you want to partner with somebody that has the same target market as you and the same values and beliefs. So social media is great for doing all your research and connecting with those types of businesses as well.
Great. And what's the best way to connect? So you've got decision makers, and I know someone said to me recently, and you've been really driving this home with us, which I think is so important, is social media, we think it's kind of just talking at people, don't we? We think, just tell people what you're doing and tell them tips and tell them stuff and go out on other pages and just post stuff. But I think one of the big shifts I've had is it's about asking questions. It's about not expecting everyone to come to your house all the time, but actually going on to other people's pages, particularly key decision makers or key pages that have communities of the people you want to target, and really get involved in a conversation, a genuine conversation.
Definitely, and I think 80% of your time should be spent doing that.
Not 80% of all your time.
80% of the time you spend on social media. But to have that strategy in place and to have conversations, and you don't want to switch people off. You want to really know your target audience and what they value, what they want to know more about, and really social media is about people, so it's connecting with them, being social, and giving them what they want.
Yeah. Couldn't be true, and I think one of the big shifts too I had was it's like having a one-on-one conversation, isn't
Absolutely.
it? You don't have a conversation with someone at a networking function and keep telling them stuff rather than asking them questions. It's kind of like you ask them questions and you engage with them that way. And I think that's such a big a big thing on how to do it. So in terms of, do you have top tips for when you go and when you're doing your social media, what are your top tips for best managing your time with social media? Because it can be a bit of a time suck, can't it? So
it can. I think we've all got lost and spent hours, on social media. I think
distracted.
Absolutely. I think it's really important to have a strategy in place and to have a content calendar as well. It's great to sort of schedule posts and tweets and content, but you really need to also be on there in real time as well. And I think that's the other important thing to, reply to people and have conversations. So strategy is definitely the number one. Also to measure and monitor what you're doing, because if it's not working, then maybe you need to look at something a bit different or do something a bit differently. And the third one is to know your audience and to know them well, to know what they want to hear about, what their pains are, how you can help them and how you can support them. And once you know that, then that will help you drive your content.
Great. And in terms of your actual content, I sometimes like to be a bit controversial or a bit cheeky, and I sometimes feel I should run that by someone before I actually do it. So, I think if we're too grey and down the middle, we kind of get lost in the noise, don't we? So it is about finding your authentic voice in social media.
Absolutely, and to be social as well, because and to be a bit different and to mix it up a bit. People really want to get to know the business owner, the person behind the business, and they want to know what happens behind the scenes as well. So it's great to inject, personality and some social content as well.
So in terms of, time management with social media too, it's about, a lot of people use social media to target their end customer, but you can use it to target and engage with your ideal strategic alliance partners. So the owners of certain pages, maybe small business pages or beauty if you're in that industry. And I guess in terms of time management, it's really about being selective, isn't it? It's really about saying, these are the communities that I want to be really engaged with, rather than being part of 100 and never talking to people and never having conversations.
Definitely. It's better to do a few really well and then rather than to spread yourself too thinly, but to go out and find where these people are and these businesses are and get to know them and connect with them.
And marketing too is about repeating the message. So I think the beauty of social media when you are approaching strategic alliance partners and you want to build your assets is you want to be seen. It's about being seen, isn't it? So if your potential strategic alliance partner has heard your tweets or seen them shared or seen you on your Facebook posts or been invited to your page or when you're regularly out there, then you're recognised, and I think that helps you stand out from the crowd too, doesn't it?
Definitely, it helps you raise your personal brand and also your business brand as well. And then also, a lot of people follow different accounts. They're looking at different businesses in the background on social media, and if they see that you're connecting with other people and having conversations, people will look at who you're connecting with as well. Then that will also help you, find and align with some strategic partners.
Okay, fantastic. And I guess just social media can be a bit of a dangerous tool as well. So any things to be wary of?
Look, I just think, it's important in a business to have a social media policy in place so that, you've got some guidelines there and your staff have some guidelines on how to act and behave on social media. But I think, have fun with it as well, but definitely make sure you've got a strategy.
Fantastic.
Strategy in place.
Thanks, Deb. I think that was extremely valuable, and I love what you've done for Partner Up, and wholeheartedly believe in your approach to social media, and it's really changed the way I think about it, that's for sure. So thanks for joining us.
Absolute pleasure.
You will be sharing a hell of a lot more wisdom with our Partner Up audience.
Definitely. Thanks, Simone.